Thank you, everyone, for having me. I try to manage to do it in 10 minutes, but I don't promise. So the first chapter, I'm gonna give a little bit of context for the project I'm going to present today. All of you know that Babi Yar used to be a very big ravine, and now it's a flattened area. And it used to be on the border of the city, and now it's almost at the city center. So people who live there perceive themselves as people who live near city center. And this is the shape of the ravine, which is quite charismatic. It used to be in 43, like at the moment of the massacre, like this. And through time, it was completely erased. And now there are almost no remains of the ravine. And the history of the place is very complex. That includes many different areas and also actors of the place. So in green, you have the former, still existing, another ravine that is very clearly can show how big the ravine used to be, the Babi Yar. In blue, you have the Syriatsky camp that was strongly involved in all the actions at the massacre time. Gray are different cemeteries that were in between two ravines and therefore were strongly involved in everything that was happening through either two different political actions, let's say. So I will be quite fast here, but this is just the context of all the layers of the history that were happening here. And we consider the area of the project in yellow, and it's about 130 hectares. So we just simply took all the place that was accessible for interaction. That's how it looks now from the municipality bodies. And the vision part will tell you a little bit of the context for the territory. Yeah, so broader idea that was developed through the creative concept was about telling the story in a polyphonic way, so that people who died here can be represented through small stories, that their voices can be heard, and no abstract ideas, but rather very, very human and very clear things about the history. And a very similar approach we're taking here at the territory, and we moved from this idea of the single museum towards idea of many interactions, many acupuncture at the site to activate it. And we did so, saying I say the team of the people who worked on the project, including myself, because the living archive, this is a concept of this place. We perceive the place as a museum itself, and the nature that can speak the history of the place. I'm not going to go into detail here, but the idea is that we can show the history of the place and show the history of the people on the site through the place. And the place itself is a museum already now. So what we are going to do now, we are going to build a new layer of the history of the place to make this living history alive. And this idea of museum ensemble is something that would represent this idea of polyphony, an idea of acupuncture on the place to activate the site, to make it as a living memory, So those red dots, many of them are like some ideas, many of them quite abstract, but it's just a diagram that represents approach to the site. And we have some program for the site that can be shown here. I'm not going to tell in details all the things, but just some of them, like you have here Holy Mountain, which is a working title, and within this Holy Mountain, you have the synagogue that we recently opened with Manal, and you have here in the middle Kurgan. So some of the ideas already here, but this is the plan to be represented later. And the idea of the Horizontal Landscape Museum is the idea of creating a kind of uniting system to all these acupuncture interventions and give a new perspective to past, today, and future. And this idea of new perspective is quite metaphorical, but also quite physical. So the landscape of the Babi Yar in 1941 was quite different. And today, we know that in many places, it just was covered with new earth. So if we start to dig, we find past in the earth. And we want to create a new point of the view to the past. And through this, we come up with this idea of new layer of memory, which we call Horizontal Landscape Museum, which would go through all the territory, uniting the site into one system. So Horizontal Landscape Museum unites a museum ensemble into a holistic system and creates endless choice of experiences. It is a multi-entry megastructure of elevated pathwalks. The shape of it follows the former ravine, the Babin Yar. Each entrance to the structure is thematic. The topic rooted in the history of Babi Yar will be revealed through the installation, pavilion, or an art object at the entrance gate. So this is the topic with which we work on this gate entrances. They are coming from the history in Jewish tradition. And we pointed them at the geography of the Babi Yar shape. And through this, we came up with this idea of the Horizontal Landscape Museum. So this is the shape. And here you can see all the thematic entrances to this Horizontal Museum. And combining together with the ensemble, the museum ensemble, we are having this holistic thing that unites everything in a new layer of memory for the site and for our future. Thank you so much.